Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whichever one is preferable to you. Welcome back to the 10th Generation of People Talk Show, and I am your host, 10th Gen. And this is about gospel. So if you don't do this, and this is your thing, well, this is a decision that you have to make. Okay? So one of the questions that a lot of people have been answering themselves about the stamp that's supposed to be in everybody's hands come the end of days. But it's no stamp that you have to look for in the end of days, okay? Because, like God said, we were born in sin. See, the stamp was placed in our hand a long time ago. We've been with it. And the stamp looks something like this. You're surprised? What can you get without this? Name one thing. I'll wait. Now, you can't name anything you can get without it. You can't get medical care without it. You can't get food without it. You can't even, matter of fact, you can't even get a good judgment from a judge in a court without this. You can't get nothing. Or if you don't believe me, throw your wallet on the table and go down to the drugstore and try to get some drugs for a headache you have, or maybe get yourself some gasoline. Maybe your kids need some shoes. Or you didn't think I put your kids in there, didn't you? Because without this, they can't get nothing either. See, as a kid, this was the first thing anybody put in your hand. This is the survival rate of all people. This comes before God. Sometimes I wonder when I look at this, it says, in God's we trust, but I wonder what God they're talking about sometimes. Because this makes people do everything. At one time, this nation that we're on now, before we removed the Native Americans, they didn't use this currency. They didn't use anything. They just did for each other. Yeah, they had their squabbles. Yeah, they had their problems. Any devil would tell you that. But they made good living without this. They lived in harmony with God. So take a really good look at it. Because this ain't the only one. It's not just the American currency. It's all of them. Because as it said in the Bible, it'll wear the crown of every king in all nations. That's what this beast were. I can't even get water without that. I had to pay for this too. No matter what you do, this is tied into our every life. This is choking the life out of America. $20 trillion in debt. There's no way to come back from that. That's why all they do is building war machines because it's not gonna come back for $20 trillion in debt. Every nation is just the same way. Some is lighting the load, but America haven't. America push on with this thing. We're fighting all over the world because of this. This is the root of power of mankind. This is the Americans and the world's major power. This beats out any army that there is. You can have a mighty army, but once this is flared in a way, mm-mm. How do you think China is able to manipulate our government and our military? They own the debt. As mighty as our military is, China controls our rich people. Our rich people run this country. We don't have a government like a lot of countries do. Our government is rich people and rich people only. Every decision. That's why our healthcare system is you're on your own. Most Americans, when you walk around and say, "Well, we love to just put, they just pay for our healthcare through taxes," who own the cameras? The rich people. So what do they say? Well, everybody else in the world, they want their government to go ahead and just take care of it all. But here in America, we want to do it ourselves. Nah, you only hear one camera side, but when you hear the other camera side, The poor people like myself, we prefer that it just be taken care of. I go to work every day. I don't want to worry about when I go to a hospital and I have to pay a deductible. And then somebody asks me for my insurance. And then when I leave there, and about a couple of days to a week later, they send me another bill. That's 3 bills. In other countries like Canada, you already took care of it. You did the job like they said do. They've already took care of it. So when you get sick, you just go in there and you come back out. Mm-mm. Not to mention, you got to take an ambulance here in America. It's $1,000. 1,200. Excuse me. They will bill you. Don't think it ain't. So in America, that's run mostly by money. When you take an ambulance here, that's $1,200. They're charging you then. Then when you get to the hospital, it's $100. That's a deductible. Then they take your insurance card. Then they send you a bill. It's not, but that's the system that we run on. This run on because the doctors have to survive too. But it would be so nice would it just be all taken care of. The doctors just come in there and do their job. They don't have to ask anybody. They have to look at a patient like, can this patient pay or can this patient not pay? The doctor can come to work with a clear mind knowing it's already taken care of. But our country's ran by the stamp. It's ran by the rich. You're on your own. So you gotta make sure you have that payment yourself. So we pay into Medicare, we pay for insurance, we pay the deductible, the insurance company pay the other middle part, and then we pay the end part. When it could be all done in one, but we're so ran by this stamp because without it you can't get nothing because this is all the rich people want to live by here. They want to live by nothing else. You see how evil it is? Because our commander-in-chief, President Donald Trump, he said one thing. You can't spend $1 billion. So what's the purpose of being a billionaire if you can't spend $1 billion? Jesus said, a rich man has a chance of a camel getting through a needle's eye. Far be it a man to gain the world and lose his soul. You think about that. Far be it a man to gain the world is a present tense. To lose your soul is a future tense. That means God didn't do nothing but watch you. See, God is here to do one thing, protect heaven. That's his major plan. Protect heaven. He's not interested too much in anything else. That means he's got to sort out the people that are doing wrong from the ones that are doing good. So he's going to take his preferable and leave the ones he don't want. It sounds cruel, but what do you expect the king to do? Continuously accept evil? Because evil is what destroyed heaven in the first place. Stuff like this. Can't get it. Anything. God is giving us everything. All he do is give. And all he asks is to give your respect in return. He didn't say go slave all day. He never told people that in the first place. Rich people said that. So what does that leave all of us? We can't get anywhere without this. We're in the belly of the beast. Remember. See that guy right there? He's an American king. And we're the king of every country in the world. This is the beast he was talking about. Not only this is the stamp, this is the beast. Okay? Can't do anything else. That's all it is to it. So don't let this consume you. Okay? I talk to rich people all over. And I found out a lot of things about rich people. And I'm not going to say nothing like they're depressed because everybody's pretty much depressed. But did you know a lot of them are addicted to pain pills? So where did this get you in the first place? You're still in the same boat. You are addicted to pain pills and you made all these billions of dollars. And you didn't even do real research on medical care that will keep you from feeling pain. So what you collecting all this money for? To each their own. Collect what you want. Everybody's a collector. I was, but I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff now. Because after seeing them hurricanes down there, seeing God's work in his anger, I'm like, you know something, there's no reason to hold on to things. Donated some of the stuff, gave away others. Okay? For all of you all, you better stop putting on your best behavior. You live in the belly of the beast, you've been there. You've been there since Jesus walked, even before he walked. That's why he came here. He came here to set some things straight. See, Jesus didn't die for our sins. He died because we wanted our sins. He gave us a chance to choose him. And what people chose was a murderer. They didn't want no healing. They didn't want no giving. They wanted a murder. So now we stand before the throne of the King, wondering which way we're going to go. And when you stand at the throne of the King, he asks you, how much of this did you have? Did this consume you? Thou should be done on earth as it is in heaven. So if this consumed you on earth, it will consume you in heaven. And you would do anything to turn heaven into this. This is what God is protecting us against. He tried. People wouldn't listen. And now God has no choice but to protect heaven against the evil. And he will get rid of us. Me too if I don't straighten up. I got my things I do. I don't do much. But I do procrastinate. Okay? But procrastination causes me to sin, so I'm getting rid of procrastination. That's why you see more and more of my videos coming out. I do a little bit more every day. I work on the bad part of me to turn it as good as I possibly can. What are you doing? Or are you just sitting there trying to blame other people for look at what they're doing? Well, look at what they're doing. Now, what are you doing? That's what you need to be worried about. Because where do you see yourself in 50 years? This can't save you. I saw the richest men die of cancer. It can save them. I'm not going to name their names. Look it up yourself because you ain't got to take my word for any of this. Look it up yourself. Look at how bad this has consumed others. And in the end, it doesn't mean anything. Look how evil this is. People, when I drive that truck, I see people thrown out in the rain. Here in the United States, I see people thrown out because they just don't have enough of this. It's not because they're bad people, because they're broke. And that's the worst sin of American government. They do not like broke people. Don't get caught broke in America. Don't get caught. You're in bad trouble. There is not a judge that's going to like you when you stand in front of him. No matter if you didn't do anything, that judge will convict you in the name of this. Not here in America. Now, I've seen in other countries like Canada and France and England and Germany, they're fighting the stamp back. They're fighting evil. They're putting in the bucket health care for everybody. They're not throwing people out the house. They don't turn your light, gas, or water off. Here in America, you're on your own. This is the only thing that's good in the government's eyes. When you stand before any judge in America, this is all that's good. Nothing else. It's consumed us. It's taking our humanity. And it's taking our place in heaven. So we won't have a place unless we can defeat it. And they're not trying to defeat it. They're trying to live more with it. Why do you think they're building them jails? Why do a rich man need to build a jail? There's no way to make money out of it. You have to get money from the government. That's what you have to do. So now we have people stop. Why do you think police officers in America don't patrol the streets or at a post? They'll write tickets and take you to jail for moving violations. That's about it. And then they'll slap out you out the fine because that's how they get their money. Once they put you in jail, they get a check from the government. See, some of these checks, if these checks was cut off, they stopped locking people up. See, in Canada, you can go outside, you'll see a police officer. And I'm not blaming our police. I'm not calling our police officer here in America bad. It's not the police officer. We just have bad leadership. Because if you tell the police officer where to be and where to go, that's what they would do. But our governments are consumed by this. All the local governments are. That's the problem that we're having. If we didn't have this, perhaps our governments would do right. But they don't want to do right. They just want to cause trouble because this is what makes them money. Keep those courtrooms full. That's court costs. You ain't thought about that? That makes money. That makes them a lot of money. The more people they have in the courtrooms, the more money they make. The more people that they misjudge on, the more time you have to go back and try to fight these misjudgments. That makes money. Go down to your courthouse and just paste this across the front because that's all it's about. We shouldn't have this many people in our country locked up. We have more people in our country locked up than pretty much almost the whole world combined. Yeah, other people's jail cells are bad, but how did ours become the worst? Where people are now getting beat, molested, raped, killed. It's hard, when I watch North Korea versus America, North Korea, Kim Jong-un doing all this stuff over here, I don't blame him. Because America haven't set a good example. Haven't set a good example at all. And it's time for each American now to sound my voice to start making a good example and start being as good as you possibly can be. It's not too much you can do against this, and it's not too much you can do against rich and militaries, but you can be the best you can possibly be because God will judge you on your good works. Don't think He's just going to judge you on His name, and don't think He ain't going to judge you without His name. But you do good works in His name, that's what He wants. He wants your good deeds. He wants the best in heaven. He don't want the worst. You can't say His name and then go beat down somebody in the same time. Okay? You can't say His name and you go up there on that judge podium and misjudge people. You can't say His name and then go and do your job as a doctor and don't want to help anybody because they don't have enough money. You can't say His name and then be a cop and then beat somebody down. He don't want that type. He wants those who, when you're a doctor, you have care in your eyes when you're helping somebody. When you are a judge, the type of judges God wants, He wants the ones that are intelligent and patient and listen to both sides of the story before you even say anything. A lot of our rough judges here in America don't do that. They'll tell you to shut up. They'll tell you to shut up the minute you get in that courtroom. Okay? Because they're consumed. So it's time for you, all of us, to start being patient and intelligent and have care. We're going to have to lead where our government ain't leading. Because when I look on the news, all I see our government doing is talking about other countries. Why we worry about it? Our country ain't even number one. We're constantly trying to tell people we're an exceptional country. You hear it on the news all the time. CNN, Fox, people say we're an exceptional country. Now our government is ran by the rich. And a lot of them don't even like God. Because they're consumed. They're possessed. And in the end of the day, they don't have anything. We're building the military thicker and thicker when we should be building space stations and spaceships. We should be furthering mankind, not destroying it. One of the rich people, his name, I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to say anybody's name. But one of the rich men, he said the world is populated 500 million people. I said, well, what about the rest of the galaxy? What about Mars? You're not trying to get there anymore? Your thinking is very shallow. You've given up. When Russia and America got together, we built a space station. That's the only space station that's ever been built when mankind united. But now we're divided. We're divided. Everybody want to be number one or the best or the best race. If any one of us was the best or any one of us was God's chosen, we'd be there with Him. Now we have to prove ourselves. And that's what I'm telling you, to put on your best behavior and be good. Don't let nobody tell you that your good deeds and your good works are not worth nothing to God. They're worth a lot to everything to Him. And especially when you praise His name, because that's what He wants in heaven. Because if He bring the worst up there that just praise His name, they're just going to stab Him in the back and tear heaven up. So put on the best you and do your best not to let this consume you. And let's go for every rich person, to every government, to everybody in any court out there. You run this, don't let it run you. Unfortunately, we've gotten far too deep into it, but there is a way out. And this way out is Jesus Christ. They don't like money there because Jesus just want to give. He don't want you to, he don't want this. It's just going to burn up anyway. But let's take us to God's throne. When He asks you, what do you think about this? I'm going to leave you right there. Because it's a question He's going to ask you and the person you are. All right? So remember to be the best you, because God wants your best attitude. He wants the best of the best. He wants the friendliest and the most givingest people, because that's what He's going to give. When you give God glory, you say, God, all glory belongs to you. And He says, yes, let me glorify you, though. He will share that glory. This is 10 generations of people. And I see you in about 50 years. Okay? There's a game in heaven that I love to play. So you all take care. Be on your best. Get away from evil. Because if your friend is evil and they're doing evil things to evil people, they will do it to you too. So if your friend is evil, it's best to cut them loose. Just like that eye. If your eye calls you to sin, pluck it out. If your friend calls you to sin. Just like your job. If your job calls you to sin, best to quit. This is 10 generations of people. Love you much.